Black Lives Matters turns 10, and KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to be the exclusive media partner of the People's Justice Festival. This Saturday, July 15th, 12 to 6 p.m. in Leimert Park. Come join us as we celebrate the life-saving and history-making work of Black Lives Matter to help bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. There will be live music performances, a children's village, giveaways, vendors, a healing justice space, Skillshare, and amazing speakers including Green Party presidential candidate Dr. Cornel West live on stage at 4:30 p.m. For more information, go to blmgrassroots.org. That's www.blmgrassroots.org. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley will be main stage hosts throughout the day, and the KBLA Talk 1580 delegation will be out in full force. So, join us this Saturday, July 15th, 12 to 6 p.m. in Leimert Park as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Black Lives Matter. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. Can pull the hood out me, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head, rooted.
Heaven ain't hard to find. I gotta do it, look. Simply because you're nervous, let me start off with my conversation. Hoping my information alleviates the hesitation. I can see it clearly now. Catch you smiling through your friends. I'm asking, baby boo, are you down? Although I know you heard about my reputation across the nation, Mr. I get around. My temptation got me.
Hey, I get around. Miss I get around. That would be me. You know, that's a story for another day. And it is related to Tupac. Shout out to Andy for hitting us in the head. I'm telling you, a RSVP playlist, that's coming. We got to do that. I'm looking forward to that. You are welcome. Welcome
in this place.
Welcome to Hour 3 of RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. I am here with Trent the Artist, our Keep It Real friend. We were having a conversation around the Emmys and snubs and what constitute a black show and are these things fair? And obviously, we're not going to solve the problem tonight, but we can have a bit of a conversation about it. And so, Trent, your point was as long as we are represented in some ways, then we should be cool. I asked our guests earlier about award shows and if we put too much emphasis on things like the Emmys and the Oscars and so forth. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we don't value our own awards that are set up like the NAACP Awards, the BET Awards, those type of things, AFCA, African American Film Critics Association, those type of things? Do you think we're placing too much value on these established legacy sort of institutions?
Well, you know, I kind of think we forgot the reason and the purpose why our award shows were created in the first place.
Right.
And I don't think that we support those enough. But it also, as a creative person, I see both sides of it. You want to be validated by your own people for sure, but you also want your work to be universally accepted by people who appreciate the work and the culture as well. So it's, you know, it's hard. It's a toss-up, but you know, I think at the end of the day, you have to be a person that is confident in your abilities and what your work is, and let the fans, you know, speak, you know, in regards to the work.
What do you feel about awards? Are you okay as long as, you know, I saw you post on social media one time where someone sent in a comment about your show and how it touched them. And you said that it touched you, that they felt that moved to speak on it. So do you think that type of validation is more important, or the accolades, you know, are nice, but...
Yeah, the accolades are nice. But for me, because I, you know, have my own show, it's like what gets me going is the people or my listeners. So listener comments are like of most important to me, and subscriptions. Those are the things that speak to my work and my craft, not really an award. There's so many, you know, shows on the air. Like, you know, it's nice to be validated and get an award, but the people that listen and spend their money and their time speak, you know, says more than any award to me.
Okay.
Especially when people are really touched by personal stories that I tell, and I've gotten some really really good emails over the past year for sure, but that's what's important to me. The people that listen and the lives that are changed from my stories and my mistakes sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah.
inspiring the youth or the people.
Well, some youth, but my demographic is very interesting. So it's the middle age.
Okay, well, middle
Yeah.
age can take inspiration too. You can learn at
Yeah.
every phase
I'm
and
middle
every
aged.
single thing.
So I get it.
So before we get into the foolishness and trust me, our to be reviews will be foolishness.
My God.
In the two that we've picked tonight, I want to talk a little bit about this diversity issue. So
Yeah.
I mentioned a couple of weeks after, well, not even the next day following the announcement of affirmative action being struck down in higher education, there were 4, and again, timing questionable. We don't know if it just happened.
Come
to
on,
happen.
Jill.
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. I know you only give that for Pebbles. Pebbles gave it.
She gave
We
it,
wouldn't have
so we
to.
wouldn't have to. So you should not extend that. Come on.
I'm still
Shout out to
extending
Pebbles.
it a little
I
bit.
love Sister Perry.
But so over the course of a couple of days, 4 black women lost their jobs or left on their own accord that work in the diversity and inclusion space. So those women were, and of course my computer screen just didn't want to cooperate.
It's these Apple updates.
Is
these-
that what it
it's
is?
these
It's just
Apple
moving a
updates.
little
You
slow.
got to download it and go ahead and let them install the latest spyware on the system.
Okay, no, not doing that. But I appreciate that little tip.
Yeah.
So Disney's chief diversity officer and senior VP, Latondra Newton, she exited as of June 20th to pursue other endeavors. She's gone. 8 days later, Verna Myers, Netflix chief of inclusion and strategy since 2018, was let go from her position.
They got a lot of drama at Netflix.
They do. But, here's the thing. I mean, Netflix is an expanding entity. They had to adjust because their business model, everyone sort of caught up to the business model that they established as far as streaming and the way that they were rolling out their programs and marketing. So they had to make some changes to stay competitive, to try and stay lean. On the Friday following the announcements of the affirmative action being struck down in higher education, 2 more were laid off. Karen Horn, who was at Warner Brothers Discovery, she was the SVP of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. That includes HBO. Warner Discovery just recently went through a merger with them, and that's why we have Max now. And there also is Janelle English, an EVP of Impact and Inclusion at the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. Is this a coincidence, or is this just we did that for 3 years after the racial reckoning, and now we're here?
That is correct. It's because when you're black in this country, it's only acceptable to be black when it's cool, and when it's valuable, and when it's profitable. Period. And because it was the time to be profitable and cool and black and all. Yeah, sure, let's do it. And then, of course, you got this rollback. Duh. They didn't feel like doing it anyway. This is how they've always felt. This is what they've always wanted to do. And now they have the okay to do it.
So do you think that it is just also maybe there was in some areas an overcorrection in some of the efforts that were made in order to make sure that we were reaching maybe not equal, but, a heightened level of representation? Or do you think they're just like, that's enough of that. We're tired of it now.
It's only good for business when it's profitable for them. And here's the thing, too. What I do know about working in corporate America, it's a lot of people in charge that don't look like me that make a whole bunch of mistakes. And people like me have to come in and clean up the mistakes because we have the aptitude and everything else to do it. And once that's done and cleaned up, then we get cleaned up too.
And a lot of those people that made the mess fail up.
Yes.
They don't,
Yes.
They are moved around. A new position is
because
created.
Chaos is rewarded and order is not.
Listen, that is something that we have all, well, maybe not all, but I know I, being in corporate America at times, have definitely been through that. You obviously alluded to it.
Yes.
And I think it's not trendy anymore. The thing that is so interesting, right? And you would think that it would also extend to a workplace situation is shows that include diverse casts and different viewpoints tend to do better. They tend to make more money. But a large portion, a large sector of Hollywood is still very much stuck in their ways. You know, they only want to see what they want to see, and I feel remakes, yeah. And I feel like there's enough niche areas. There's enough areas that it shouldn't be a problem if you want to diversify the type of content that we're exposed to. Well, when we come forward, Trent and I are going to get into these two Tubi projects. You know,
I love it.
It's going to be quite interesting. I hope you guys are ready. They are interesting. They are unique. Like I said, I've been being sent these, so I decided we're going to cover these on the show once a week when Trent is here because it is going to be hilarious. And if you have Tubi suggestions, feel free to send them to me.
Give up the Tubi suggestions.
Give up the Tubi suggestions. Love to hear that. You are listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the Evan, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Foster.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm James Alexander, a proud member of AARP. 1967, I was 17. That spring, my friends, the Barcades, and I made Soulfinger. It was a hit. Number 3 on the charts. That summer, we became the great Otis Redding's band. First gig, the famed Apollo. That fall, we toured. That winter found me in a morgue identifying the bodies of my bandmates and Otis Redding. My music and their memories bring me joy. The Barcades forever.
What would you call a joy that is as solemn as it is sweet and knows no bounds? A joy that's beautifully rooted in soul and resilience. This is Black Joy, a joy that reflects pride and honor despite every challenge. AARP believes the power of Black joy is limitless, and we celebrate this joy supreme. Join us in celebrating Black joy at aarp.org/blackcommunity.
To my hometown, my community. Some of you have known me my whole life. Do you notice anything different about the kids in the neighborhood? Ever paid attention? We might start with gifts, money, attention. These are signs. Child trafficking is happening right here in this town. So don't just watch through the window. Pay attention. Because the more we know, the more we'll all know to say no. Learn the signs to look for and how to help at no-to-say-no.com.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. Thank you, VIPs, for clocking in. Now, remember, if you want to join the conversation, hit us up, 800-920-1580. The YouTube chat is always popping, or hit us on our socials, KBLA 1580. You can hit me at Stiletto Jill. Hit that follow button. I'm intriguing. You like it. So, before we get into our Tubi review for the night, I mentioned that there's a basketball wife that is mortified by some news that came out recently. And Trent, the Keep It Real friend, has dubbed her loss prevention.
Yes.
Do. Can we guess who we're talking about? You don't have to guess. I'm just going to tell you. We are speaking of Larsa Pippen, Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. As you know, she is currently dating Marcus Jordan, the son of basketball legend, some people's GOAT, Michael Jordan. So in a recent episode of she and Marcus's podcast, Separation Anxiety, she responded to Jordan's comments that when asked what he thought about the pairing of the two, and he just shook his head and was like, nope. She said she was mortified. And this, that came on the heels of them saying they spent the holidays together and, they were cool with it, that they had done the whole family linking thing. During the podcast, Marcus said that although he thought that his father's comments were funny, he was, he believes that his father was joking. And Larsa didn't find it funny at all. She said, and I quote, "I kind of felt like it went everywhere, and I was kind of embarrassed." Larsa added that Jordan, who's 60, Larsa's 49, and Marcus is 32, she was like, "Oh my God, I was traumatized. I was like, what are we going to do? People think I lied." She also added that the couple's parents really do approve of the relationship. I don't know, Larsa, but Marcus said that he didn't put too much weight on it, and he understood that it made Larsa feel a little nervous. But he said that MJ blew up his phone afterwards, letting him know that don't take it the wrong way. He didn't really mean it. So, Trent, what are your thoughts?
First of all, she ordered her tears from China. They're not real. Okay, that's number one. And number two, he is the typical black father. So if you don't know about black fathers and how they and how they work, of course you would be offended by that. If my black father, rest in peace, to Trent Singer, went on TV and said nope, I would holler and laugh, because basically what he's saying is, no, I'm not talking about that. Get somebody else to do it.
Oh, so you think that well, here's my thing. He was asked a couple of times, and he just laughed it off the first time. He made a choice, and I stand by this. He made a choice to say nope. And I do not think he was saying,
preceded by a laugh.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're doing this. Ha, ha, ha. Y'all are funny. Just move on to something else. That's what the laugh was. And then nope. It's like, ha, ha, ha. You're still persistent? Nope, I'm not doing this. No.
Nah, I think he's not feeling it, but we'll see. Marcus,
of course he's not.
On your side.
Of course he's not.
He said, "I know my dad and obviously my whole family. We're competitive. Part of our DNA is to talk smack. It gets us going. It gets us motivated. We all know Jordan is the king trash talker." But he said, in defense of his father, "When I saw it, I immediately thought he's playing. He's joking. He's laughing. He's just being playful, and he might have been off of that tequila a little bit."
He is being a typical 60-year-old black daddy. That's all this is.
So you think he's cool with it?
Of course he's not cool with it. But he also is aware that his son is going to be a young man out here in the streets, and he understands because he's been there before. So that's his son. He's not going to go against his son. He might not support all his decisions, but he's got his son's back.
Absolutely. Marcus also added, at the root of it all, obviously, is, he said, his dad's relationship with, and he was speaking to Larsa, your ex, Scottie. Obviously, we never talk about that, and I don't think my dad wanted to comment on that. Marcus also said, there's always that narrative, the rumor that I'm dating you in some sort of way to get back at him or whatever. So, they're addressing that head on, but they also, admitted that the relationship is probably awkward for Michael and for her ex-husband.
Sure.
But she added that she and Marcus aren't a part of that. That's not really their concern. And she shut down any implication that she is dating Marcus as a way to get back at Scottie.
It's very convoluted. and I'm pretty sure it's very uncomfortable for MJ. Like, he's the last person he wants to see his son with, I'm sure. However, we also have to keep in mind that when you are in these circles, right? You're around the basketball players. You're at these games. You're at these celebrity classics for the weekend or whatever. Your circle is very small. You see the same people, and you tend to date within the circle. It's a little incestuous, but you tend.
No, it isn't.
Come on, but you tend to date within the circle and not really outside of what you know.
I mean, I think I would always say that they love a referral. Speaking of athletes, entertainers, or whatever, they like to know that you have been vetted.
Yes.
Because here's the advantage of dating someone that has already dated another celebrity, right?
Incestuous. They keep it in the circle.
I'm talking about the advantages of doing so, right? There's a certain protocol and decorum that comes with being with them. I don't think it's incestuous per se, but I do think that there is some things that are easier. They know how to move. They know, they're with the same friends. They know that they can bring them along to certain events and things like that. So, if you have a lot of money, like, who does the ex-Mrs. Scottie Pippen date? Well, we know several 20-year-old basketball players, but that's neither here nor there.
The people that she saw at the parties over the years, 5, 50, 11, 10 years ago, she go back and circle the party scene.
Well, clearly she's not circling the party scene because none of these people were born in that party scene or of age that she's dealing with. So
she met these people at the house.
I mean, here's the thing. I say, do you? If they like it, I love it.
Sure. We know
Go
what that
off.
means in black slang.
I mean, but seriously, though, honestly, because here's the bottom line. Does it impact us at all? No. And regardless as to what they say, obviously we can't speak to what's in their heart or whatever, right? But they knew that the situation would be complicated.
Yes.
And I feel like the way that they revealed it and the fact that you guys have you just announced it in January. You said you had Thanksgiving with the family. So presumably you've been dating about 8 months?
It's a little weird, and we don't care, and it's really silly, but we all know somebody that dated somebody's cousin or brother or somebody that they shouldn't have been dating, and now everybody's weird and uncomfortable by it. We just don't see them every day on the news.
Right. Facts. And like I said, they love a referral. I strongly believe, and I talked about this in my book, Post Game Pass, Access to the Life. You can check it out. It's on Amazon. That especially when you're talking about athletes, it's kind of this is the wrong terminology currently, but me also. Like, oh, you got that brand new range? Me too. You got that dog? You got a Frenchie pup bulldog mix blend? Me too. You got a doodle, a golden doodle? I want that too. You dated that girl? I want to date her too.
It's
a competition thing.
It's a no for me.
It's a no for you?
I understand. That's why they make more than one car, but a person, nah.
So you've never dated within a circle or a friends group? I haven't either, but
not tacky like that. Like, no. Mm-mm.
No, you've never dated like friends or people that know each other, not even on purpose, but let's say, something like you might have dated someone in your youth and then you circle back and you meet someone else and, oh, they had a friend group during the time period.
Not like that, no. But I dated somebody who I kind of met like randomly adjacent. Like, I didn't meet them directly. Like, they were just kind of in the background. Like, oh, okay, yeah. And then like a couple years later, like, I ran into them again. I was like, oh, you're such an, like, yeah, okay. But it was, it wasn't, a messy situation.
It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I have another question for you, kind of along the dating thing and the dating with the. So Larsa obviously has children. She has 4 children that are in, 2 of them are in their early 20s. The others are, I think, maybe just 18 and under that or whatever. And so with a situation like this, right, would you be comfortable interacting with a mate's children under these circumstances? And the children are of age, can see the social media chatter and so forth. Would you be comfortable bringing your children into that situation?
It's a little hard because when you have children, it's already hard to date. And social media just makes it worse, and your celebrity adds another layer and element to it. So in that bubble, I'm pretty sure the kids are used to stuff like this because of who they are and because of the circles that they run in. So they probably don't even really pay attention to the noise, honestly.
I don't know about that. You think that kids, teenagers are above the fray in that they are Stevie Wonder to the stuff with things like that involving their mom?
I think that they are, but they get reminded about it when they have to go out into the real world. So they've all got especially if they're in school.
They got their guard up initially,
yeah,
right?
If they're going to school, they for sure hear about it from the people at school. But, you tune it out because you already know what it is because you live in it. So you don't want to really read about it because when you step out, somebody's going to remind you of it anyway.
I mean, and there was a case with I can't remember which son that was signed to the Lakers briefly. He wasn't picked back up, but he was actually on the team with the guy that Larsa was dealing with for a little bit of time where they had all that drama and they were spotted places. I'm sure, again, uncomfortable for both of them. Even though the relationship was done, just a lot had happened in that, short time frame.
Sure.
So I don't know. In this social media era, I know that you got to live your life and the kids are adults, but I think that would be probably the most uncomfortable aspect of it for me because the kids are going to get it, and they literally have nothing at all to do with it. Terry in the chat says, Stiletto Jill and Trent the Artist, MJ feels bad because Scotty was giving him a hard time. That was the only reason why he took that approach. I don't know. Tony Yayo came through with the name for me. Malik Beasley is the gentleman that was signed. He was traded to the Lakers mid-season. So he and Scotty kind of spent some time together. I think one of them was on the G League team. So I don't know how much time they actually had to interact. But it's just the point. It was out there. It happened. T. Sworn said, kid stuff, what were they doing in their early 20s? We know what Jordan and Pippen were doing in their early 20s. A lot. However,
it wasn't on tape.
And it wasn't social media.
Yeah.
So that I think that's what the big consideration is for me. When we come forward, we're going to get into our to-be review and break it down. We can't wait to share these titles with you and have a key. Coming up is news and sports. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Heaven ain't hard to find. In fact, you can have it, just have faith. Just like a little kid, still believing in magic. It takes a lot of sacrifice. And with all the lonely nights on tour, I need somebody I can trust in my life. Let me apply the brakes. Maybe you're moving too fast. My conversations are getting deeper, but first let me ask, are you afraid of a thug? And have you ever made love with candles and bubbles slipping in the tub? Touch me and let me activate your blood pressure. This thug pleasure help the average man love better. Picture me naked and glistening beneath the moonlight mist. Take a shot of that Alizé, come give me a kiss, and maybe we could be better friends. Perhaps we'll be closer. Be the thug in your life, baby, and you'll be my soldier. And I know it takes.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. President Biden is visiting Finland after wrapping up a key NATO summit in Lithuania. Biden will hold a bilateral meeting with the president of Finland in Helsinki on Thursday. Finland officially became the 31st member of NATO in April, marking a major shift in the security landscape in northeastern Europe. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin will soon be returning to Cincinnati, Ohio, bringing training that aims to save sports players' lives. Back in January, Hamlin collapsed during a Monday Night Football game against the Bengals after he suffered a cardiac event. Tonight's Powerball jackpot is up to $750 million. Nobody has won the Powerball's top prize in nearly 3 months. The jackpot has a cash option of $378.8 million. Meanwhile, the Mega Millions jackpot is up to $560 million after there wasn't a winner in last night's drawing. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the Accident Guys. Because unlike other firms, an attorney will negotiate your case, not a paralegal.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
You're listening to K-Drip, where we play all the best classic water-wasting hits like Watering Your Lawn During the Hottest Time of the Day and Leaky Faucets. They're tunes from another time because now that we face a hotter, drier future, every drop counts. Despite an extremely wet winter, keep using less water, fixing leaks, and reusing indoor water for your garden. Visit SaveOurWater.com for more ways to conserve. Up next, brushing your teeth with the water on. K-Drip.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
Did you know if you go online to Kohl's.com right now, you can take so much off the price of your favorite Kohl's finds? I just shopped their summer cyber deals and need to talk about it. I saved on a Food Network cookware set for under $65, JBL speakers, a NutriBullet combo blender, and because I bought a cute tea, I got a second one for only $1. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash. So hurry to Kohl's.com for the right finds at the right price right now. Select styles. Offer ends July 12th. BOGO offer ends July 13th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-381-8528 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-381-8528. That's 800-381-8528. What do you have to lose? Call 800-381-8528. Again, 800-381-8528.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I must be honest with you, babe. Just gotta be honest, babe. I love to watch the faces that you make
Okay, I'm stumped. Andy, you gotta put me on.
Oh, this is, you don't know who this is?
No.
This is Neo.
Oh, I wouldn't know. I mean, so here's the thing. I have Neo songs that I appreciate, right?
This is like a B-cut. You have to own the album to know what this song is.
And that is why I wouldn't know this.
I'm a Neo fan.
I am a Neo single fan, you know, meaning I like his singles probably, but I don't know how many of his projects I actually consume start to finish.
Oh, the first 3 were definitely solid.
I mean, I probably listened to them back in. I feel like the first one dropped in, 2005, something like that? I think so.
Maybe a little earlier?
2006? 2006, I was close. Okay,
yeah.
2005, 2000. I knew it was around there because I remember bumping, like, this is random. I was at All-Star in Houston, and whatever the single was.
You know what? You and these random. Oh, let me just slide this story in real quick.
There is no story. That's just it. I just remember a Neo song was popping at one of the parties, and it was a good night. I had a good time. It's a long time ago. Anyway, in the chat, Terry said, going back to our loss prevention, as you like to call Larsa, Terry said, Larsa is young and very pretty. When I was in my teens, I dated women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. They treated me good and were very good in bed. Well, I heard that, Terry. Young is a state of mind. She is not young for the earth. She's young for the earth, perhaps, but I don't know if she would technically be considered young to some. I'm not saying she's aged. I'm just saying I don't know if that's the proper adjective to use. What do you think? No? Maybe?
She's mature.
She's mature. Okay. I mean, she looks good, you know, well preserved.
Well, money
or something.
Money will help you with that.
Absolutely. Pay for the maintenance. I'm not mad at that. Everybody should be happy with how they look. So anyway, I mentioned Tubi, and if you don't know what Tubi is, it was an independent company streaming service that was launched in 2014. It's since been purchased by Fox and is now a division of Fox Entertainment. It's an ad-supported video-on-demand service with over 50,000 movies and TV shows, including a growing library of Tubi originals. They have 200 local and live news and sports channels, 400 plus entertainment partners, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They have about, I think, at last count, and this was a couple of months ago when I heard this number, over 50 million subscribers.
Wow.
Okay? 50 million. So this isn't a small entity, right?
This is really a guilty pleasure for a lot of people.
It is. It
Wow.
is. And people don't really talk about it, but it is.
It's very much a secret.
It is a secret, and it's free. Again, I mentioned ad-supported.
But it's interesting, though, when you talk about it with other people, they get excited. Like, all of us, they light up. It's like, oh, God, it's so interesting.
So
wow.
here's the thing, that some of the movies, like there's different quality levels that are showcased on there. Recently, in the past, I would say about a year or so, maybe a little longer, the Black TV and movie spotlight area has been really popping up, bubbling under. There's been a lot of conversation about the various movies on there. And some of them, admittedly, will remind you of, remember the DVDs you used to buy when you were getting your hair done back in the day?
Yes.
Or you were, getting a haircut, or you could buy them from the beauty supply or whatever. Some of them are kind of on that type of quality, and then others are more advanced than that. But they are entertaining. One of the fun things about it is spotting the defects or, laughing at the ridiculousness of some of the series. So every week we're going to review some of the top films and TV shows that are on Tubi. We're going to talk about them. So tonight we're talking about two. One, Trent and I have both seen. The other, we were just referred to it and we have not watched yet. They're both kind of, in some ways, two sides of the same coin. That's why we are sticking them together, and we will move on. So the first that we're going to discuss is the one that both Trent and I saw. It's called Secret Society. And what Secret Society is about is Celeste and Tina play the game too well to be considered your average gold diggers. However, when the jaw-dropping secret that they both share is exposed, the same shovel that got them out of the dirt could very well bury them. So, Trent, what did you think of Secret Society?
Actually, it was a very well-written movie. I was completely shocked. I was at home one day, and one of my homegirls, shout out to Bunny, she was like, "You got to watch this movie on Tubi." And I was like, I am not watching no Tubi movies. I hadn't heard of it. So this was actually the first movie that I sat down to watch.
Mine too.
She kind of gave me a premise of what it was about, and I was like, this is not something that I'm really, interested in viewing and ingesting. Like, not to say that, well, I'll give you my reason for later, but I know too many people who live this life in real life to actually watch a movie about it. Like, I'm in orbit of it's too close for comfort for me, so I don't need to see it. I sat down and I watched it anyway, and I was pleasantly surprised at the production value. The story was good. I did not get bored at all.
And I like that it covered some real issues, but not
Yes.
in a message type of way.
Yes.
It addressed them head on, and
In a very real,
Mhm.
very realistic way. And I enjoyed it.
So let me tell you, it stars Raina Love, Erica Pinkett. You've seen Erica in a bunch of different series and TV shows. I think For Your Love was one of them that she was on, which I believe was on BET. Jeremy Meeks, that's Prison Bae.
Yes.
Right?
Light-skinned.
Vivica Fox is featured in it as well. So it's not like the cast is total unknowns or, people that you've never seen on a screen. They're available. But there is, a surprise about the movie.
There is a surprise.
There is a surprise. So you definitely have to check it out.
So you're not going to tell them surprise?
No, I'm not going to tell them that because it'll ruin it. What if they want to watch it? There's a twist. There's a big twist.
But I think with the black audience, you might want to just
give them the disclaimer.
You should give them the disclaimer because that is a topic. It's always been a hot button topic within the black community. And if they are not disarmed or you not letting them know what they're getting into beforehand, it's going to be some serious consequences and repercussions.
Yeah, they might come back.
You going F around and find out next week. They're going to be mad.
Listen,
yes.
I do not want you guys mad at me. Okay, so let me say this. It's basically a cautionary tale, right? And it surrounds two friends. They get them girls. They look good. They dress good. They about that money. But they get ran up out of their city, which was Philly, and they take up residence in Atlanta.
And get ran out of Atlanta.
Well, we'll get to that. But here's the thing. They, like I said, they're get money girls. So they're running schemes on guys and things like that. Now, they both share a secret, right? And the secret could be considered controversial. Let's just say that they are, and this is a black movie again, by the way, in case I didn't mention that or you were uncertain. It's a black movie. The two young ladies are of the Caitlyn Jenner variety.
Come on, letter people.
The T
yes.
in that
LGBTQ.
So
yes.
What the film centers on is the risk that they take and how they sort of maneuver through these situations and what happens when someone discovers that this is who they really are.
They're not who they say they are. Or
right.
who they're portraying themselves to be.
They're portraying themselves to be. And the consequences that come along with playing those type of games.
Yes.
So, like you, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a good story. I was pleasantly surprised. It was not what I was expecting. I went in totally blind. So I didn't know what it was about. I just knew that it was recommended and I checked it out. So you do the same and let us know your thoughts. When we come forward, we will get into our next series that is on Tubi. This one we haven't seen, but we've seen the trailer. All that and more when you are come forward with me, Jill Munroe, and Trent the Artist on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hollywood Walk of Fame stars in 2024. Stay tuned to find out who's in next year's class. I'm Aisha Cairo with your K-Black Minute News. A new group of 31 entertainment professionals across film, television, radio, recording, and sports entertainment will have their names etched into Hollywood's history in 2024. One of the most celebrated names on the list was the beloved Chadwick Boseman. Others for the class of 2024 in Hollywood Walk of Fame was this year's Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh in the motion picture category. Other notable names include Chris Pine, Gwen Stefani, Andre, Dr. Dre, Young, Otis Redding, Christina Ricci, Brandy Norwood, Harry Washington, and more. The dates for the star ceremonies have not yet been scheduled. To find out all 31 inductees, visit youtube.com/Walk of Fame.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically Black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You are rocking out with us here on RSVP. I am joined tonight by Trent the Artist, and we're talking Tubi movie reviews and TV shows. So first, let me get into these comments because the chat has been lit tonight. I appreciate you guys staying up late with me. Tony Yayo wanted to drop that Erica Mena is a Tubi star. You know Erica Mena from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and Love and Hip Hop New York. She is featured in a couple of films on there. T. Swarns gave recommendations of a series called The Dirty D. It's about Detroit and some things that are happening there. Urban Spinster says that she feels like The Dirty D has way too many sex scenes that interrupt the story, and she ends up fast forwarding them. She said that they love back shots. So I don't know. We're going to take a look at that and see what's going on with that. You know, the series, not that, like, you know, it's just been referred. Probably should have cleaned that up a bit, but you guys feel me, you know, you understand what I'm saying.
It's appropriate.
You know, it's interesting. So we're going to talk about this other series that was sent to me by a friend. And so, of course, I forwarded it to Trent, like, we got to talk about this. So I haven't watched an episode yet, just watched the trailer in about 10 minutes of episode 1. The series is called Hoochie Daddies, right? And so for me, when I saw the title, I was like, oh, okay, we're going to get some little male eye candy. We're going to see them in their little short Nike shorts, maybe some gray sweats. You know,
a
the
nose
things
ring.
that went. I do not subscribe to that. I do not where that comes from.
We all know that men with nose rings are hoochies.
Who knows that?
It's a known fact.
By who?
It's a known fact.
I have never heard of such. No Tupac slander. No.
Just because you're a hoochie doesn't mean it's not slanderous. Everybody's a hoochie during the summer when you're single.
Tupac was a hoochie slayer. He was not a hoochie.
Yes.
Anyway, this Hoochie Daddies series is not about those Hoochie Daddies. Let me read you. It's a reality show. I'm just going to read you a little bit about the show.
I've got a lot to say about this.
Okay. So 8 identifying masculine females will live in one house and compete for the title of Hoochie Daddy.
Bro.
Tempers rise as they tussle for the title.
A bunch of bros.
And this is what a bunch of bros, that's what they say. That's not what we are saying. That's what they say in the clip. And what they are competing for is a 2-person trip to Jamaica and a King Hoochie Daddy chain.
You know what I say to this? This is out of control, and it needs to stop. Period. I'm not homophobic or by any means. Okay, maybe like 10%. But
be quiet.
This is out of control. Hoochie Daddy?
Hoochie Daddy. It's the first season is taking place in Jacksonville, Florida.
Ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Listen, it was sent to me. I was querying about Tubi things.
Ma'am. Not daddy. Ma'am.
Listen. I watched the part of the trailer, and let me tell you something. These
It has to stop. It's out of control at this point.
They're going hard in the paint.
The kids are watching this, and I don't like it.
I mean, listen. I will say one of the things, and I actually watched, there's a comedian named Sam J. She had a series on a late night talk show on HBO Max, which is just now Max, called Pause with Sam J. And she had a segment that featured masculine presenting lesbians and their desire to be tops off, top out, right? So there is a thing we know. Why are you making that face? So some of the introductions that we have from some of the participants in this story, they are stepping onto the scene with their tops off and black masking tape, covering their femininity aspect. So I don't know. This show is something I wasn't ready.
This is out of control.
I was expecting a different type of hoochie daddy.
This has got to stop. The tape on the tape on the chest and out. We don't need to see it. Stop it. I don't like it. I don't like none of it.
Listen,
you are not a daddy. Whose daddy are you? Show me to your son, your daughter.
I mean,
point it out.
Listen,
who's your daddy?
Who?
Them.
Oh, I was like, who are you talking to?
Because no, this is nope, no. This is out of control. I don't like it, and I don't think the people like it. And at some point,
it is one of the most popular shows right now.
Of course, it is, because we live in a society where chaos and disorder is applauded, and by no means, you can express yourself the way that you want to, but certain things, a line has to be drawn. We should not be subscribing to a society where we are allowing this type of chaos and disorder really to go on, and just it's a no for me.
So T. Swarns in the chat says he agrees with you, Trent. Tony Yayo asks, is Tubi encroaching on Zeus territory with the crappy shows? Well, here's the funny thing, and that's why I gave the stats first and who is a partial owner of this. Because though it might appear as such, the budget levels are different. Tubi had a Super Bowl spot in the Super Bowl earlier this year. That is not an inexpensive buy. That is not something that you do for an entity that you're kind of considering on the same level as Zeus, that streaming platform and their original thing. So, like I said, there's all types of shows and film on there, documentaries, different things. So we will be taking a look at a few each week and sharing our thoughts and going through them. So those were the initial 2 that we were presented with. Urban Spencer says, That's all the budget they got? A trip to Jamaica?
Right, and I had to respond, and a chain.
And a chain.
Stop playing.
And a chain.
Calling yourself a hoochie daddy.
Well, okay, so I will say one thing, that I do have a problem with the chain being a part of the prize, because that just seems so typical and just like
It's very hoochie daddy.
A chain? Well,
It's very indicative of the name.
Listen, so they said season 1, so that means that there are more seasons on the horizon. Here's the thing: if you do not watch the whole thing, right?
I'm you know what, I'm gonna watch this weekend. I'm gonna get California blazed, baby. I'm gonna have a pina colada, and I'm
legal
and
here.
I'm gonna go in for a couple episodes to see this chaos and disorder, so I can have constructive criticism, because I'm all about expression. I'm all about having the conversation, and the movement for the gay conversation for Black people, because it needs to be had. But this is not the way to do it, and you can't say that you want equal rights and have all these real conversations in the world, but then you have a representation that acts like this. No one is going to take you serious.
I mean, but I think
Sis,
here's one of the things that I want to say about that, because I understand your point and I agree with you to a degree. I also think that we as Black people should be allowed to express ourselves in all facets.
Sure.
We should not be blocked in to only be the talented 10th, the best of the best elite, because that's unrealistic. And there's different phases throughout there. There's different expressions of Blackness, and I want to see it all. But I do want to see it done well made. I want to remind you again, Tubi is free. It is an ad-supported platform. They also have reruns of old TV shows and movies. So there's lots of things that you can check out on it in addition to this original programming. T. Sworn says, I can't stomach it, bro, so handle it, Big Trent.
I'll tell you all about it next week.
Urban Spencer says, I'm still waiting to see the Bad Boy Club, but I'm not paying for Zeus.
Neither am I. I want to see Carry On and all those boys fight. Now that is some crazy crap on TV.
I have never seen an episode of Bad Boys Club. I've only seen the
Raz
clips
B
online.
and Kirk Franklin the second. That is hot television.
Listen,
for the Blacks.
I saw the gangbang segment though, when Orlando Brown and Raz B were gangbanging against each other. I did see that clip. That was pretty
Prime
interesting.
TV.
That's Prime Zeus.
I love it.
So
Two crackheads fighting on TV. Nothing better than that. Allegedly.
Okay. Like I said again, we're going to be checking these out week after week. If you have any shows or series that you want us to check out and review, you can send them in to us. Make sure that you are hitting us up on our socials. Trent the Artist,
yes.
Stiletto Jill, KBLA 1580. Download the app, right? So that you can take us on the go and give us commentary on this. Thank you for rocking with RSVP for Jill Munroe tonight. I appreciate your time, VIPs, so very much. Make sure you are checking in tomorrow, because we will have more trending topics, hot news, and all of that in entertainment, sports, culture, and lifestyle. Thank you. Have an amazing night. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. There's a city council hearing today on how African American